What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate support. Guys, a few days ago, a trial concluded out there in Blenheim Township, a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. Shout out both places, in which this story that made big news in 2023, I think it was August 24th, 2023, about this young lady up here that you see with the officer next to her. The woman that you see up here is 21-year-old Takia Young. And she was killed after stealing, and they got it on video, her and some friends stealing liquor out of a Kroger supermarket, in which she went and got in the car and was told by officers to get out of the car, which she refused, and wound up getting shot. Now, this woman, who's a mother of two, according to reports, and was pregnant with a child, in her stomach, she died, right? Now, they had the trial last week for this officer up here, Connor Grubb, and he was acquitted of the murder of Takia Young. And a lot of people were in an uproar about it. I want to show you everything that happened, and I'm going to give you my honest assessment. You know I am. And we're going to talk about this a little bit. Before we get into this, let's go a little bit back in time and see what got us up to this point of this video being made. Take a look.
Yeah, Jen, what we are going to show you is body-worn camera footage from each of the two officers who were involved in that incident last Thursday. Each video is just over 1 minute long as the confrontation with Takia Young plays out in a matter of seconds. The first officer to interact with Takia Young approaches her car under the suspicion that she stole liquor from Kroger.
Hey, stop. Hey, out of the car. Out of the car.
By the time the second officer gets to the car and walks in front of it, the first officer had asked Young to get out 5 times. He keeps asking. Young argues. You can hear the exchange on that officer's body-worn camera.
Out of the car. Out of the car. They said you stole stuff, do not leave. Get out of the car. Then get out. No, then get out. Get out of the car.
Young begins to drive. In this freeze frame, you can see the car make contact with the officer standing at the front of the car as his feet leave the ground. That is when that officer fires one shot through the windshield. We paused the video to not show that deadly shot. When we pick up the video a moment later, you can hear the commands continue. The car rolls through the parking lot, stopping under the awning by the store. The video ends with officers busting the driver's side window to get Young out of the car. Now, you may have also noticed in that video that Blenheim Township Police did not identify either of the officers, going as far as blurring their faces and their badges. In a written statement, Chief John Belford alluded to Marsy's Law, claiming the two officers are crime victims, and he believes their identities are protected by state law.
All right, Jamie, thank you. NBC4's Caleb Michael joins us live now at Blenheim Township Police Department after speaking with Young's family's attorney. Caleb, what are they telling you?
Jen, they're telling me this situation is heartbreaking and that Takia Young did not have to die. Now, we have been here at the Blenheim Township Police Department to see Takia Young's family come here this morning to view that body camera video. They were inside for less than 10 minutes. When they came back outside, it was silent. They were visibly upset. You could see them crying, hugging one another. Then they got into their cars and they drove away. Now, just a few minutes after that is when the Blenheim Township Police Department released that video publicly. With it, a statement detailing the process they went through to get to this point and why it took them more than a week. Chief John Belford says this situation is a tragedy and is asking for prayers to the family during this time. Sean Walton, an attorney representing the family, says they were not ready to speak on camera today, but I did ask him what his initial reaction was to seeing the video.
I mean, the video is heartbreaking. What we see is an officer who escalates the situation. He goes to stand in front of the vehicle, places his hand on the vehicle, and almost immediately pulls his gun out. I still can't quite understand why his gun came out. It's almost as if he was looking for a gunfight in a situation where Takia was unarmed.
Takaya Young's family has been calling for the full release of all the video, and today Blendon Township released 2 new surveillance videos, plus an extension of the body-worn camera videos from the 2 officers. 2TV's Lacey Crisp is at Blendon Township Police to walk us through the video and the timeline of events.
Blendon Township Police released 40 minutes of video today. Some of that video shows Takaya Young taking bottles of alcohol and putting it into her bag, then walking out of the store. Another video shows officers rendering aid. A warning, this video is tough to watch. Video from inside the state liquor at Kroger is time-stamped 6:21 p.m. and shows Takaya Young walking around the aisles, then taking a bag out of her purse. She then takes more than a half dozen bottles of alcohol and puts them in her bag and a basket. She walks out of the store with 2 other women at 6:27. Police say she didn't pay for the alcohol. Exterior store surveillance video begins at 6:27 p.m., according to the timestamp, showing the officers in the parking lot helping a woman who locked herself out of her car. You can see Young walk to her black Lexus that was backed into a handicapped parking spot. Within seconds, the store employee runs out and gets the officer's attention. They then approach Young's car. At 6:28, Young begins to drive forward with the officer in front of the car. Body-worn camera video shows about a second after the car starts moving, the officer fires 1 shot. Some of the video is too graphic to show, but the car continues forward and officers pull Young from the car at 6:29 p.m.
You got medics. Shots fired, we need medic.
According to body-worn camera video, from the time officers pull Young from the car to when the officer runs for a first aid kit is about 19 seconds. The 2 officers try to stop the bleeding and give CPR.
She's gonna run me over. I know she was.
Other officers arrive on scene and the investigation begins. The officer who shot Young walks away with the other officers.
I'm afraid she's pregnant.
With the release of the video, Blendon Township Police Chief John Belford said in his statement, "This was a tragic situation for everyone. We recognize that these videos will create more discussion and even anger by people who have passionate feelings for or against the officer's actions. But we're simply complying with our promise of transparency and our obligation to release public records as required by state law."
Takaya Young's family says they will file a civil lawsuit after a jury found an Ohio police officer not guilty in her killing. Young was 7 months pregnant when police confronted her on suspicion of shoplifting liquor from a Kroger grocery store in 2023. Body camera video showed Young refusing to get out of her car, then the car rolling forward toward Officer Connor Grubb before he shot the 21-year-old, killing Young and her unborn child. Prosecutors argued the police department has guidelines for officers to take reasonable steps to move out of the path of an approaching vehicle. But Grubb's defense attorneys argued his use of force was objectively reasonable because Young's car represented deadly force.
We, the jury, upon our oaths and law and evidence in this case, find the defendant not guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Mr. Grubb, you're...
Grandmother Nadine Young visibly distraught when the judge read that not guilty verdict. And Nadine Young is here along with her attorney Sean Walton Jr. for more on the family's reaction. Hi to you both. Nadine, thank you for coming on. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How are you and your family doing now?
It's just like a devastating struggle right now, going through the turmoil of what just happened. It was not what we expected at all.
How are Takaya's 2 children dealing with her loss? And what do you tell them to try to help them move forward now that this criminal case is over?
Well, right now, they don't really understand a lot about the criminal case stuff, and I don't flood them with it. We just surround them with a whole lot of love. Everybody that cares about them, loves on them, just extra. You know, that's all we can do, and help raise them up right and show them the right way to go.
Sean, the family says the civil case will prove what the jury could not find beyond a reasonable doubt. How do you plan to do that?
You know, the video evidence is clear. I mean, I think it's very transparent what happened. And, our goal is to make sure that a jury, should we reach that point, understands the terminology and just the standard here, the fact that this shooting was not reasonable. This is not normal police behavior. Connor Grubb should have de-escalated that day. He's trained to do so. Pulling his gun out not only escalated that situation, it led directly to her death. The car was slow moving. There was no reason why Connor Grubb should have had to shoot to preserve his own life. And he took 2 lives that day. So our goal is to make sure that the jury understands that this is a tragedy that was completely unavoidable. And it came from bad policing practices and tactics, as well as just a very unreasonable and irrational fear in that moment.
And when you say, should it reach that point, is there a possibility you think this civil case doesn't make it to trial?
Well, we're coming full steam ahead. So we're in discovery right now. My hope is that this family is not forced to go through the ordeal of a civil process that could take years before a trial date. And so our goal is to make sure that we're prepared for a trial should it get there. But certainly if they want to resolve this and to allow the community to heal and this family to heal, then we're open to that. So we are ready for whatever is ahead of us.
Nadine, what does justice look like to you now that a jury has acquitted Officer Grubb in the criminal case?
Well, I know God gonna get the final word. I mean, he got to go before God with all of what he did. It's just so hurtful that it didn't happen in the court system, because to me, the jurors didn't see what we've seen on that video, that he was standing on the side of the car when he shot that bullet in her heart and killed her and the baby. And that was traumatic and devastating, because you could see her 2 headlights and him standing on the side. And that was just evident right there that he was not in harm's way when he put the bullet on my baby. And that tore me all the way up. So right now, I'm just waiting on God to get some justice for me, because they let him go. Yeah, they let him go, and he's got to deal with this the rest of his life. He's got to deal with what he did.
What do you want people to know about Takaya?
She was a shining light. She was a sparkly young lady. She loved life. She treated her boys like gold, and she always was doing everything she could to provide for her kids and take care of them boys. She loved them boys. And she was just a young mother trying to get by. And she was just a bright light in our life, and it's gone. But we know she's up there shining at us now, because that's where she's at. She's shining.
All right, Nadine Young, Sean Walter Jr., we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Okay, guys, you seen it. Officer that shot this woman one time found not guilty of her death. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm keep it fucking real. I don't feel nothing for her. I told you that before. Because I'm gonna tell you why. You keep hearing the same thing when people get shot. They were good people, this and that. But they do bad things to get them put in harm's way. And then once they're caught, they still have no accountability for the things that they do. Oh, she was pregnant. She was with child. The cop didn't think about her or that unborn baby. No, she didn't think about her or that unborn baby. What she did was an act of selfishness and slickness. You went in there to steal liquor. They said she took 6 bottles or more of liquor, a half a dozen bottles of liquor. Had a bag in your bag. You had another bag in there to intentionally take out to steal. That was a setup. You already knew you was going to go do that. You running around with friends and you got a baby in your stomach. In life, you do dirt, you get dirt. And this is the effect of it. And you get a bunch of people running around here crying and screaming, they done somebody wrong. No, the person did themselves wrong. She didn't think about that child, like I said before, or her other children that she had. And you see the same typical bullshit of people that when they get caught doing something, they want to argue and all this type of stuff instead of just listening to commands given to them. Did you see when she got in the car? Cop knocked. Hey, boom, boom, boom. She act like he wasn't there. He knocked on the window. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, turn the car off. Stop. He told her to get out the car 5 fucking times. Then she tells him, I ain't getting out the car, and tried to drive off with the cop in front. And it don't matter if he's on the front or the side. He shot her because she wasn't listening. It always comes down to not fucking listening. It's crazy how adults are like children. They get caught in lies or get caught doing something and try to either talk their way out of it or just be belligerent to where they don't want to hear what nobody else saying, try to just get out the situation. You see it play out every damn day. Irresponsibility from people that do irresponsible things, and then the rest of the world looks around and says, hey, that ain't right. Now, there are going to be mixed opinions on situations from a video that people see. I'm just giving my account of it. But I will tell you this. If that cop was black, do you think this would have made news the way it made? Come on. For real. That cop was guilty of being white. And you know, I don't deal with the color like that, but I mean, let's call it the fuck out. Then on top of that, they showed the video. The family said, we want all the video shown. And they showed all the video, and the more video they showed, the worse the victim looked for doing what she did. You seen people falling out in court, no, and all of this type of stuff. And then this is the part that's crazy. After it's over, if you listen closely, the grandmother of Takia Young got on TV, talked about how it was a travesty and how they, you know, the cop is going to have to live with this the rest of his life. Why? He feels no guilt. He feels no guilt. He did what he was trained to do. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that's crazy is this the same grandmama, if y'all really was paying attention to this story, had a restraining order against Takia because they had a situation. But she on TV, kicking the knowledge. We riding for her, but you had a restraining order against her. Don't matter. But either way, man, it's just stupid stuff. You stole. You wouldn't listen when caught. And it cost you your life and the life of your child. How selfish is that? How can you feel sorry for somebody that does that type of shit? You know what I'm saying? Even if you wasn't drinking the alcohol and you were stealing it for your friends, that's just as worse as stealing it for yourself. Because you had a future. You were a mother, about to be another future mother, and you had children that depended on you. And you didn't think about nothing. You just went in there and did what you did just to have a good time or support others having it. Either way is bad, and it all falls on you. And it's upsetting. And you know, people are hurt. And my heart, you know, condolences do go out to the family that cared about her. But we got to be honest here. This whole thing was bullshit. And it should never happen. Most of the time you see these police shootings and motherfuckers getting shot up and people screaming in the street and stuff like that, it always comes down, usually, to somebody not following direction or listening. And the way she came out there with that bag and went up in there as cool and nonchalant as she could do, I'm more than sure that wasn't her first time doing that. And that's it for me. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can't win with people. You can't win. You know what I'm saying? You ain't have to shoot her. Okay, say he didn't shoot her and she took off. And the police got behind her and chased her. And she hit somebody and killed them. Or she crashed and got killed herself, got burned up in the car or something. It would have always been the police's fault. At what time does the actual person committing the crime or the criminal act really take accountability from those that are watching and see it in black and white? I'll see you in the next video. Take care.